Welcome to Unity Wilmington. My name is Reverend Nikki Golden. Reverend Mindy Tucker is here with us. She will be giving you the message today. Vicki Hayes is with us to give you the poem. She'll be sharing a beautiful poem with you by Rumi. As you see, lights are coming on. So we are ready to go. Thank you for your presence here, whether you're watching in real time or whether you're watching at some other time. We are so grateful for your presence. What a beautiful opportunity to connect. So often we talk about technology as something that separates us, but in these days, which are different days than we've ever had before, technology is a lovely way to begin to connect with each other. Whether you're having meals with family via Zoom, whether you're FaceTiming with each other, or watching live, or even recorded, this is one of the very beautiful gifts of technology. And technology at some point was a divine idea through God. And so somebody picked that idea up out of the universe, put it forth, it continues to develop, and voila, here we are today. What a joy to know that you are there. I know Jeff Miller watches, I know Jeff Brown watches, so we have a bunch of Jeffs watching, which is wonderful. Carol Jenkins watches, and if I've left you out, I apologize. Put your name in the comments and we'll see if we can pick them up. We'll definitely respond to them. We are in strange times. We're in unusual times. We're in a time where we truly are living in the unknown. We have an opportunity to see this as a gift or to see this as something that's difficult. The difference will be what level of resistance do we have to it. One of the beautiful things about Unity teachings is Unity invites us to stand in our power at all times, knowing that all is well. So will you say that with me? All is well. Now we have 3 affirmations that we use every Sunday morning. The first one is, you are a beloved expression of God. Take a breath into that. You are a beloved expression of God. Now let's say that together. I am a beloved expression of God. We believe that we're all here for a holy purpose. And that purpose, I believe, is to learn how to live as fully humanly as we can while being a spiritual being. How do we learn how to navigate the challenges of life? How do we learn how to live in joy in spite the challenges of life? How do we learn how to love as fully as we can, no matter what's going on in the world? I'm here for a holy purpose. Will you say that with me? I am here for a holy purpose. Now that might feel a little odd to say if you're the only one in your living room or your bedroom or your den, wherever you're watching this from. But go ahead and speak the words, because the words have a power. When we put our voice to the words, it resonates fully in our body in a whole different way than when we just think the words in our mind. So let's say that one again. I am here for a holy purpose. And we're always in the right place at the right time. It's the only time we have. It's a beautiful time. It's a time of learning how to live in a new way. It's a time of things falling apart and yet coming back together, because out of great chaos comes beautiful things. Our task, our job, is to seek the beauty. So affirm with me, I'm in the right place at the right time right now. Let's say it one more time. I'm in the right place at the right time right now. All across the world, Unity churches, Unity spiritual centers are affirming that there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives. Whatever name for the divine that you like, please feel free to put that in. Don't let the name of God be your obstacle to having an experience, having a relationship, having a time of knowing deeply your oneness with whatever name you use. In this spiritual community, we use God, but feel free to use whatever name you would like to use. And let's affirm this together out loud and powerfully. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good And let's take these thoughts, these words, into a time of prayer. Tuning into that place of centered oneness within us. Tuning in, feeling, recognizing, allowing that deep inner knowing to be the thing that emerges, that bubbles up in us and moves forward and radiates forth from us. In trying times, in difficult days, we can always return to this place in prayer, in meditation, that place of oneness, where the peace that passes all understanding resides within us. Coming home to peace, coming home to centeredness. When we're alone, coming home to our oneness, and knowing that we are not only one with God, we are one with each other. Tuning in, allowing, seeing what emerges, generating gratitude, joy, love, and peace, and celebrating the very essence of life that we are. And so it is, and so we let that be. Amen.
Welcome to the exactly 42 people who are watching right now. And if it is your first time joining Unity of Wilmington and Spiritual Community, we give you an especially warm welcome to be in spiritual community with us today. And if you're watching for the second time, welcome back. If you're watching for the third time, welcome back. And for those of you who are a regular part of our spiritual community, we're very, very grateful for your presence. If you find you've been moved, touched, or inspired by anything you've heard today, we invite you to share the Facebook Live on your page so that more people can connect in community and be reminded of their oneness with God. The last Sunday of the month we call Diversity Sunday. And what we do on Diversity Sunday is take a look around the world to see what's happening. I wanted to start today with March 29th. In the United States, it is Vietnam Veterans Day. It's a relatively new holiday, and it's actually been around for a long time. It was approved state by state by state. I'm very proud of North Carolina for approving it in 2011, but the president approved it in 2017. And it's a beautiful way to honor people who served so bravely for our country and were not given a proper welcome when they came home. All around the world, it is Holy Hygiene Month. It really is. We're inviting people to pray, wash their hands, and stay home, and attend to the facts and remember absolute truth. April is an incredible month worldwide. There are some profound ceremonies, rituals, and observances in every world religion. Beginning in Christianity, we look at Easter. From the Western perspective, the Western experience, the one that came down through Catholicism, Palm Sunday is on the 5th, that triumphant day Jesus entered into Jerusalem. Maundy Thursday is on the 9th, when he had the Last Supper. It's when communion, the ritual of communion was started, and foot washing. Good Friday commemorates the day he was crucified. And then the 12th is Easter Sunday, the day where he rose from the dead. And of course, Unity has a metaphysical perspective, but that's the traditional Christian. Now, in the Eastern tradition, the Orthodox tradition, Holy Week begins with Lazarus Saturday, commemorating Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. That's on the 9th. And then the 12th is Palm Sunday. Many of the Orthodox traditions, churches are in northern climates, so instead of palms, they use pussy willows. The 17th is Holy Friday. 18th is Black Saturday, that day where he was laid in the church that is now called the Holy Sepulchre. And then the 19th is Easter. Very holy time in the Christian tradition. In the Jain tradition, it's also very holy. They celebrate Mahavir Jayanti, the birthday or the day that they celebrate their last teacher, Mahavir. In Jehovah's Witness, it's the only holy day that they celebrate in the entire year. April 7th is the Lord's evening meal. Theravada New Year, a Buddhist tradition celebrated all around the world. Hanuman Jayanti is celebrated in the Hindu tradition, celebrating the wisdom that the god Hanuman, the monkey god Hanuman, brought to us. Lailat al-Baraha is a Muslim holy time. It's a night of atonement, it's a night of compassion, it's a night of prayers. It's people who are very devout stay up all night long reading from the Quran. Passover is in the Jewish tradition, a very holy time in the Jewish tradition. See what I mean? Everybody has a holy time in the month of April. It commemorates the time during the 10th plague in Egypt, where there was a mark above every door. The beginning is of Passover, which actually begins on the night of April 8th. There's a Seder dinner and a retelling of that story, and it ends with the retelling of the story of the parting of the Red Sea. And there you see a table laid out with all the people coming out of Egypt. Vaisakhi is a very important day in the Sikh tradition. It celebrates the founding of their soldier caste. And some of the biggest parades actually are not where the Sikh tradition started. Yom HaShoah is April 21st. It's the day where, as a world, the Jewish people remember those who died in the Holocaust. Never forget, we will remember you. Ramadan is the holiest time in the Islamic faith. It begins on sundown of the 23rd and continues for an entire month. It's a month filled with prayers and fasting. Like I said, April is an incredible time in many world religions. In the United States, May is the national month of hope. Perfect, we need some of that. It is the National Humor Month, and we need some of that too. And it is National Alcohol Awareness Month. As we go into isolation, it's even more important to notice what our habits and behaviors are. And if you need help, There is help for you on the telephone, on the internet, and we invite you to reach out for that if that is what you require. National Reconciliation Day is on the 2nd, a good thing to do at this time. Reconcile, heal those broken hearts. 3rd is Find a Rainbow Day. 7th is No Housework Day. The 10th is Siblings Day. If you have some, honor them on the 10th. The 14th is Gardening Day because we're affirming that the weather will be warm enough to garden. And the 22nd is Administrative Professionals Day. And here at Unity of Wilmington, we honor Wendy Miller, who's our admin. A lot in the world, and we thank you for celebrating with us.
Good morning. This is a poem called Looking for Your Face by Rumi. From the beginning of my life, I have been looking for your face, but today I have seen it. Today I have seen the charm, the beauty, the unfathomable grace of the face that I was looking for. Today I have found you. I am bewildered by the magnificence of your beauty and wish to see you with 100 eyes. My heart has burned with passion and has searched forever for this wondrous beauty that I now behold. Your fragrant breath, like the morning breeze, has come to the stillness of the garden. You have breathed new life into me. I have become your sunshine and also your shadow. My soul is screaming in ecstasy. Every fiber of my being is in love with you. Your effulgence has lit a fire in my heart, and you have made radiant for me the earth and sky. My era of love has arrived at the target. I am in the house of mercy, and my heart is a place of prayer.
Your heart definitely is a place of prayer. You left us a souvenir, Vicki. We have a bonus earring here for you. So easy to return it so fast. When ministers or anybody really starts talking about prophets, this is the image that usually comes to mind. The end is near. And why is that? Why is that the image that comes to mind? I mean, you think about the Old Testament prophets running around or standing on street corners saying the end is near, the end is near. And it's actually pretty accurate in the way that prophets have invited us to remember the law of consequence. The law of consequence is just another name for the law of mind action. The law of mind action says what we think about, we bring about. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So if we were to stay with thoughts of whatever we're staying with, then the consequence is going to be 1, 2, 3. If we stay with the mindset that we have, our consequence is going to be 4, 5, 6. If we stay in the paradigm, our way of being, our consequence is going to be A, B, C. And if we stay with our belief system and our attachments and all of those thoughts, well, then our consequences are going to be X, Y, Z. What we hold in mind, we actually we bring about in the field the manifestation of. So perhaps a more accurate way to look at prophets is this: the destruction of what we know, because there's value in that. If we're holding negative beliefs or negative thoughts or thoughts of fear or a paradigm that this is the end, then it will be the end. And the prophets are inviting us not as a punishment, but as truly an invitation to destroy the thoughts that are not serving us, make that shift, and come into a whole new way of being. Like think a higher thought. Be in a whole different frequency of consciousness. And in the words of Zechariah, he says, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Anytime in the Old Testament, in Hebrew scriptures, we see that word Lord metaphysically, we can substitute it with the word law. So the law is not by might, not by power, but by Spirit, by that through line of God. We are one with God, and that's what we're being invited to. The prophets are here to remind us that our work is consciousness work. And our consciousness work is to set ourselves up for success. Our consciousness work is to find that higher vibration so that we can survive, so that we can thrive, and not only do that, but invite others to do the same. So here's the message from a prophet. Our consciousness work is fundamental to surviving in the unknown, thriving in a dynamic reality, and supporting others to do the same. Bible scholars say that prophets are ones who are called by God, not because they have a prediction of the future, but because they have a message to share. They're ones, so really they're here because they're speaking on behalf of God. Anyone can be a prophet. Anyone who answers the call can be a prophet, which means you can be a prophet, I can be a prophet, everyone watching can be a prophet. Anyone who answers the call can be a prophet. The prophet's overall message was to invite us into consciousness work. And one of my favorite prophets is Isaiah. And I'll tell you what, you know what made the prophets really good at what they did? It was their ability, their creative ability for the dramatic arts. They said things in a way that got people's attention. Isaiah, he walked around the streets naked for 3 years because he wanted to protest the alliance with Egypt, a military alliance with Egypt. Ezekiel laid in the street for 390 days on his left side and 40 days on his right side, eating starvation rations, because he said that was going to be the number of years that Israel and Judah would be in captivity unless people did something different. The prophet Jeremiah threw a clay jug across the room and it crashed against the wall. And he said, he did it at the same time he said a statement, I will break the people of this city. Once prophets had the attention of the people, then they could deliver the message. It's sort of like when you have a child and you're like, hey, 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 hey. Once they turn around and answer their name, which is really not hey, but hey, substitute the name for your child, or hey, substitute the name for your spouse. Once they turn around and you have their full attention, then they're open to receive the message. So Sunday lessons, or whatever day you're watching this, it's like, hey, here's a lesson for all of us. Our consciousness work is fundamental to surviving in the unknown, thriving in a dynamic reality, and supporting others to do the same. Here's what Isaiah had to say. He said, make straight in the desert a highway to our God. That is one of his messages that the people became open to. Make straight in the desert a highway to our God. And we're going to have a little object lesson because, well, number one, we can. But here's what I want. If you could just hold that down, Nikki. We're going to make a straight in the desert, a highway to our God. Okay? So this is the first part of the object lesson. And those of you who are watching that know me recognize that I have slippers on. My shoes are in the other room. We started before I changed. Oh! Anyway, what is this through line to God called? It's actually called meditation. And wherever we are, even if we feel like we're starving in the desert, God is our source for spiritual nourishment and spiritual guidance. If we are a prophet, well, we are a prophet, but if we answer the call to being a prophet, our message comes from God. It is inspired. So let's talk about the prophet Malachi. Malachi is the last book in the Old Testament in Hebrew Scriptures. Scholars in the Talmud sometimes refer to Malachi as being the same person as Mordecai, who was the hero in the Purim story in the book of Esther. But more often today, Jewish scholarship points to Malachi as not being the name of a person, but actually the title given to the final prophet. And if you think about the placement in the Old Testament, it's the last book, it would be the final prophet. Metaphysically, this dovetails nicely with the way that Unity looks at Malachi, because Malachi metaphysically represents the last one before Jesus. The last one before Jesus, to invite us into a new way of being, a new truth that leads us to freedom. So it kind of makes sense. Charles Fillmore, in The Revealing Word, defines Malachi as the messenger of the Jehovah, the angel of Jehovah. So the I am comes forth through Malachi. And the way it comes through Malachi, Charles Fillmore says, is it comes through in the intellect. So first we get something in our understanding, in our mind, and what Unity teaches is we have to get it first in our mind before we can begin to articulate it in our heart. And once we have it in our heart, then it becomes a part of our everyday life. So if you think about the law of consequence, the sequence starts here in our mind, it goes to our heart, and then it comes out in our bodies. So to give a real-time example, in our mind, we get the intellectual knowing that hygiene is important to our well-being. We get that in our mind. And when we take it into our heart, we have that dawning awareness that we deserve full health, full body health, that health is our birthright. So we begin to have an affirmation of truth, a dawning awareness of truth in our heart, which then inspires us to do something, to take action. So we're going from mind to heart to action in our bodies, and the action could be physical distancing. I don't like to use the word social distancing. Physical distancing. The other action that we might notice that we're having is we're washing our hands all the time. All the time. It's a message from a prophet, I'm sure. I don't know what your last few weeks have been like. I don't know what your personal experience is, but I know what my personal experience has been. And it has been a roller coaster. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down. Oh, we're on a new normal. And if you know anything about roller coasters, if you've been going tick, 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 and then you go tick, 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 what comes next? More roller coasters. We'll be going up and down and up and down. And every time we go down or up, we're back in the unknown. We have become more familiar with the unknown than I ever thought possible. For the last 6 months or so, I've been playing a game. And I say it's a game, but it's actually a very spiritual practice. I didn't make it up, but a congregant here at Unity of Wilmington invited me into it, and this is how it goes. Pretend that you were in the know. Okay, that's not so hard. But pretend that right here, and see if you had a really deeply piled carpet, you could draw a line and it would stick, but this is not a deeply piled carpet. So I'm going to ask Reverend Nikki to come up and help me make a line. I'm going to start here. Here she comes. Here she comes. Okay, just take it all the way to the edge. Okay, so, perfecto. Okay, that's all the tape we need. This is the known. Now, the known is pretty familiar. And if you've ever watched at Unity of Wilmington before, or been to Unity of Wilmington before, you're like, hey, the walls are the same. The floor is the same. I've noticed you brought in flowers from last week, and you moved the drum set in, and you tweaked the position of the piano. But this is familiar. We are in the known. But the whole practice is to get more comfortable in stepping into the known. And how do you do that? You can follow the through line, the highway to God. And what is the highway to God? Meditation. Meditation is our through way to God. Meditation is what is going to allow for the arising of insight. Different spiritual traditions, different religious traditions, all have different methodologies for meditation, but the goal is always the same. The goal is always the same, and the goal is for us to harmonize our mind, heart, and body, our mind, heart, and soul, with that higher frequency of the divine. So when we're in the known, meditation is crucial because it gets us vibrating at that frequency. And then what we want to do next is stand right here because we've taken a breath and we've meditated. Even if it's a nanosecond, we have meditated and come into that higher frequency. And then whether you do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed, with your fist clenched, well, however you do it, you're on the through line. Step into the unknown. And look around. And look around. Now, in the unknown, there will be some things that are familiar. The walls might be the same. The floors might be the same. The flowers, the piano, the drums. I can look outside. There are still trees. If I were outside or a window was open, I could still hear the birds. Those things are with me in the unknown. But what's more important in the unknown is that I'm still on my highway to God. That I am still grounded in principle. And I've taken the time to open myself up to guidance, to insight, to a message, to a knowing that transcends my intellectual knowing and sits in my heart. When it sits in my heart, it can move through my body. And this is what I want to bring with me into the unknown. This is the prophet that is calling in me to come into the unknown with this insight, with this guidance, with this full Trinity knowing. So I can set the law of consequence into action in a direction that my conscious mind really does want to take. It's an illusion of control, but it's control. Because this is something I can control. I can't control what's out there. Check out this meme. I found it on a Unity of Wilmington person's work profile. It says, I cannot control all the things on the outside. I can control all the things on the inside. And the prophet here is Carrie Stevens. And the scripture comes from thecounselingteacher.com. But look at those things on the outside. 4 out of 7 have to do with other people. We cannot control other people. We cannot control if they follow the rules. We cannot control their actions. We cannot control their motives. And we cannot control how they react. That is outside of our realm of controllability. So why should we even try? It's like when we try, what happens in the law of sequence and consequence is that we end up frustrated because all of that out there, like nobody knows when it's going to be over. Nobody can control that. That fact is out in the ethers. How much toilet paper is a fact that's out in the ethers. If we start sequencing and consequencing that in our minds, we're going to end up frustrated. It's like that's how the law of consequence just gets you. We're going to end up frustrated. And if there was a bar, the level of energy that frustration is way down here. It's way, way down here. Whereas the highway to God is a very high frequency. And we can choose that instead. And in fact, the prophet says, I can let go of these things, so I will focus on these things. And then she talks about the inner circle, my positive attitude, how I follow CDC recommendations, my creative ability to finding fun things to do at home, and my ability to emanate kindness and grace. That's vibrating at a whole different frequency, a whole different way of being. But we're the ones in charge of the law of consequence, because we're the ones, beginning with our mind, moving to our heart, and having our expression come out in our body. We're the ones in charge of that. Malachi says, don't do anything halfway. Do it wholeheartedly. When we do things halfway, he writes, then we're really looking at that ego eye, that selfish eye, because we only get it up here. We're not able to put it in full body. We're not able to be a role model for others or serve others unless we do this wholeheartedly. A further definition, a metaphysical definition of Malachi is minister and servant. The beautiful thing about metaphysical interpretation is that every part of the story is us. Every person, every place, everything. So I come back to reminding you that you are a minister. You are a servant. In 1948, Charles Fillmore, it was his last year of life, he wrote, in an age of doubt and questioning, half-hearted service is performed with an eye to self-interest. Wholehearted service springs from love. Love for God, love for the ones we serve, and love of service itself. So I say to you, in this moment, you are called to be a prophet. You are called to love God. You are called to love yourself. You are called to love others. You are called to love the activity of service. You are called to share your message. The question is, what message are you wanting to share? What frequency is that message? And what are you willing to do to get your own attention first, to get it up here in your mind, to put it in your heart, and then bring it back into your body? What kind of responsibility as a prophet are you willing to take? Here's an affirmation that may support you. I open my mind and receive wisdom intellectually. I open my heart and receive wisdom intuitively. I am a prophet. I am a messenger of hope. So let's say that together. I open my mind and receive wisdom intellectually. I open my heart and receive wisdom intuitively. I am a prophet. I am a messenger of hope. In preparation for meditation, I want you to listen to these words. One song can spark a moment. One flower can wake the dream. One tree can start a forest. One bird can herald spring. One smile begins a friendship. One star can guide a ship at sea. One word can frame the goal. One vote can change a nation. One sunbeam lights the room. One candle wipes out darkness. One laugh will conquer gloom. One step must start each journey. One word must start each prayer. One hope will raise our spirits. One contact can show you care. One voice can speak with wisdom. One heart can know what's true. One life can make a difference. You see, it's up to you. You are a prophet. You are a messenger of hope. I invite you to find a comfortable place wherever you are and to breathe. Breathing connects us to spirit. It connects us to the essence of who and what we are. And it sets us on our highway to God. Breathing deeper and deeper, we turn our thoughts inward into divine mind, into the beacon that lights our way, into the heart of hope, that place of knowing without knowing, of being without being. We now allow the golden wisdom of the mystics to take us deeper and deeper and deeper, so that we are completely resting in that golden light energy of the divine. At one with spirit. Engaged in all levels of our consciousness work. Filled with the messages of the Jehovah I Am. And using our breath to bring us back to the present moment. To the vibrancy of our mind, to the beating of our heart, to the weight of our body. Coming back as a prophet, coming back as a messenger of hope, coming back filled with inspiration and love for ourselves, love for each other. and a love of service. Wholeheartedly, we bring our attention back up into our physical space, feeling the light of the room flood our being. And together we say the words of the master teacher, Jesus. Father, Mother, Birther, and Breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire that moves through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. Untangle the knots of error that bind us as we release others. Don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. From you, age to age, flow the glorious harmonies of life. May these statements be fertile ground from which our future grows. Amen and amen. Whew, okay. Taking a breath. I'm not going to grab the offering basket, but I'm going to invite you to consider supporting Unity of Wilmington. For as you are in your space, we are still in this space. And there are many avenues to give. You can mail us a check. You can click the donate button that's at the bottom of our homepage at unitywill.com. Or you can use our Facebook page. All of those are wonderful avenues for giving and supporting this spiritual community and the work that it does, expanding consciousness and inspiring personal transformation in the world. We bless your offerings by saying divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
And that's the way it is.
sing with us today, in person, in the house. And yes, we are practicing social distancing, and we do have less than 10 people in the room. Thank you for your generous offerings, your generous giving, for your love, and for all of the ways that you show up as Unity of Wilmington. For we know that the church is not a building, but it's a collection of hearts. Our hearts that come together in like-mindedness. Our hearts that come together to share the good news that we are divine, that all is well, and that we, with our thoughts, with our actions, with our ideas, make a difference in the world. Just like Mindy we were talking about. We are the message of hope. And as you give, in whatever ways that you give, you are putting that message of hope into action. Let's bless our offering as we usually do. You remember it? It's up here. As I demonstrate grateful giving, I am an open channel through which prosperity flows. I am blessed. Unity of Wilmington is blessed. The world is blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Today's daily word is inner peace, not interpeace. We're hopefully entering peace every single moment of our lives, but it is inner peace. And the affirmation is, I am the peace of God, I am the peace of God in the silence within me. Let's say that together. I am the peace of God in the silence within me. We invite you to send a picture of yourself. Mindy did a short Facebook Live video, a little affirmation, I guess you could say, or maybe a little commercial you could say. We have beautiful pictures, so I can look at your beautiful faces as we talk. So Mindy could look at your beautiful faces, to know that your essence and your energy is here with us today. So if you would like to send a picture, please feel free to send a picture. Now we are connecting in different ways. Mindy is going to begin to teach a class on Zoom. It's a meditation class, exactly following what we've been talking about here today. It starts on Thursday, week 1, 7 o'clock. We will put the Zoom invitation into the MailChimp and send it to you. Or you can...
Is that email address? I thought it was reverendmindy@unitywill.com.
It's information.
I know what it says, so don't pay attention to that part. Just send it to me, reverendmindy@unitywill.com. If you are interested in taking this class for Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 7 to 9:20.
That's right. And if you forget her email address, it is on our website, www.unitywill.com.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is.
We are continuing to connect in many, many other ways, mostly on Facebook.
Yes, we're doing a Radiant Health series. Tina Vesley joined us 1 week. Terry Mann joined us 1 week. Tina Vesley was kind enough to come back and join us again. Juliet or Adi Krishna is coming hopefully this week, or we're going to figure out either how to do it on Zoom, do it live and post it on Facebook. We're working the technology, but we will be having a Radiant Health series as we continue to go on. It's one more way to connect. It's one more way to uplift. It's one more way to give some information about how unity or how spirituality or how we as the divine can move forward and learn how to live in these uncertain and unfamiliar, unknown times, because really the unknown is where the magic is.
It is where the magic happens. We are continuing our theme for the month. Actually, today is the last time we have unlimited potential. Look past the exterior and see that there is so much more within. Just like that prophet said. Then decide to unleash that potential to the fullest. To the fullest.
To the fullest. Live fully as we can be. Let's bless our children. We all have an inner child within us. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are.
Thank you for joining us. Let's end with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. I want to invite you to remember that whether you are in the known or the unknown, wherever you are on that roller coaster, your through line to God is meditation. It is always there for you and with you. Thank you for being the prophet that you are. Now, Nikki's going to go turn off the Facebook Live because I'm going to start to sing, just like I did last week. All the songs that you missed.
Every little cell.
Okay, is happy, every little cell in my body is well. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. When I wake up in the morning, it's a brand new day. Just forget about your worries, you know it's